You're now listening to an archive episode of Or So I Thought, back when the podcast went by a different name. I really hope you enjoy it, and please make sure to listen to our new stuff. So, after you're done here, just scroll up, pick a new episode, and press play. Today, we'll first find out about the benefits of a tribe in our career. Then we'll talk about specific ways to locate our tribe. And then we'll discuss the proper way to connect and share with our own tribe. They are the key to our success. In marketing, we often toss around this term called tribe. And Seth Godin, one of the foremost marketers of today, says that a tribe is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. He says that for millions of years, human beings have been part of one tribe or another, and that a group needs only two things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate.
So I've been online long enough that I have this vast diaspora of contacts all over the place. And
that's Jessica Hagy. She's a writer and illustrator who runs the blog Indexed. It won a Webby Award for Best Blog in 2010, and she has created two hugely popular books, How to Be Interesting and Art of War Visualized.
And they're just fascinating people. And sometimes I'll be just message them and be like, what's going on with this? Or have you thought of that? Or wouldn't you like to do this? Or is this? And they do the same with me. And just having people that are a little bit odd that can be like, what is this about? Is a really comforting thing because it makes you feel less of sort of lone artist sitting in a quiet room and more of I'm connected to a bunch of other people who are also thinking a bunch of weird stuff.
So our tribe offers a sounding board for our ideas. But maybe just as importantly, our tribe is also our core audience when we are selling our work. It's a mistake to think that the entire world is our target market. As they say, if everyone is your customer, then no one is your customer.
You know what? I don't think so. I'm not a huge name out there. I am still very, very niche in what I do. It's nerdy. It's sort of goofy. There's a lot of wordplay. I am not ABC Family Primetime reaches everybody mass market sort of person. You don't have to think what's the biggest thing I can do? It's more think of something that you can own, something special and something that's just yours. And if you run with that, that'll get you a niche and that'll build you up. And it's not really about being, like you said, you can't please everybody with your work. But if you find one thing that really just works for you and makes you happy and appeals, then it'll start spreading. And you'd be surprised at how small of a niche can be an actual job, like a career. I mean, there are people who write nothing but this is how to curl hair, or this is how to do makeup, or this is how to wear socks. I mean, there's so many tiny little nuggets of things that you can be. Just grab the thing that you like, and you can build a life around it. I mean, I draw graphs on the internet. It was silly.
So we have to find a theme for our work before we can find a tribe. Jessica's story of how she became a popular writer and illustrator has some lessons for us in this department.
I had just stopped writing for JP Morgan Chase, and I was writing for Victoria's Secret. And I was like, I don't know if I can just do this job, just be a writer for other brands for so long. So I went back to school and got an MBA, which sounds sort of out of left field, but I really need to know how things work. So I was doing MBA work, and I was realizing that a lot of the notes I was taking were kind of graphic. And there's a way that you can diagram sentences, which I've done all through school and things to make sense of complex statements, just boil down the sentence. So I was doing that with algebra, and I started making fun of my notes, oh my God, Karl Marx is this guy, and then this guy's theory of economics, and drawing them out. And I was like, you know what? A graph is basically a sentence diagrammed in a different way. So I started doing that and taking notes, and then I was like, I can use this as a blog, and I just threw it up there, and it was one of those sort of, I'm very linguistic and wordy, so taking a mathematical look at words felt really comfortable.
And I asked Jessica how she chooses her next big project. Her answer might surprise you.
Honestly, I kind of have to trust the internet. So if I post something and if I think it's really, I'm like, this is my favorite thing, this is so cool, and I throw it up online and it gets like typical reaction, no big deal. But then sometimes you put something up there and the internet just seizes on it and says like, this is very popular and I'm sharing this with everyone. Those are the things that I can sell to publishers, to other companies. Those are the things that work best for me as advertisements for my work. And so you really have to sort of let the internet sort of take whatever you make and see what they say about it. And the more popular something is, the more likely it's going to be bought, co-opted, reimagined by another company. So it's more like I just have to keep making things and see what sticks.
And following this advice, now you're trying different things. You're throwing things up on the wall to see what sticks. I think we're ready to move on and get answers on how to find our tribe. I asked Jessica about who she would categorize as her tribe and how she found it.
So I did not know that visual thinking as an industry was a thing until I accidentally became a part of it. I was like, what? What is that called? And there are conferences and groups and places online to discuss it, and there are theories of it, and there are theories of diagrams and theories of visual communication. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know this was here. And now I'm in it and I can learn from it and these people get me and this is really cool. And I didn't know it was there. And then illustration, I use a pen. I'm an illustrator technically. So there are all these illustrators out there and they get me and they get what's going on. So again, like when you're like, what is my niche and what am I going to be? Like maybe just do what comes naturally and your niche will find you.
That's powerful. Share your work with love and your tribe will find you. This is what happened with Jessica.
Gosh, when it all really started up, I didn't know what was happening. I just had all these emails coming in and people were like, I love this. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was kind of like, okay. And the people I met through the blog have been connective and helpful and hooking me up with, oh, you should talk to this guy. He totally would get what you're doing. And you should really be friends with her because she draws similar things like this. And just sort of letting that organically happen I was super lucky that it happened the way it did.
But don't be discouraged if your tribe isn't finding you just yet. You can take proactive action. You can build a bridge to them and be the connector to initiate the relationship. Because many of us doing great work have certain character traits.
Yeah, so here's my thing that I've found too, is that a lot of artists and writers tend to be really sort of introverted people. So even if I invited like 10 of these really fascinating, wonderful artists into a room, they would probably all sit very quietly and sort of eye each other up for a very long time before anybody said anything. But if I email them, I can have this like crazy long, like hundreds of emails conversation that takes place over years, just sort of talking about stuff. And everybody is one email away. Everybody. You can reach out to somebody and say, what about this? What about this? I'm glad we figured this out. I'd love to do this. Follow up with you. I talked with you once 3 years ago and we keep forwarding each other stuff. And maybe I'll see you at this conference next year. And just keeping sort of those loose, comfortable relationships around is really helpful because so many artsy people are just like you who are, I'm in my room, I'm doing my work. I need to like flick this idea out into the universe and have somebody real respond to it. And so having that is sort of an introvert social network.
An introvert social network. I like that. Now, in our last part, let's find out how to best share our work and ideas with this tribe we've found, with this introvert social network that we have gravitated towards. You've now found your tribe, or maybe your tribe has found you. Is there a wrong way to share? And what are the right ways to connect with our tribe?
Okay, so I know that there are some ways that some people are like, you have to post this like 7 times the day you make it and 12 times afterwards. And I'm like, that is just not, that's not who I am. I'm not a sort of like, look at me, promo, 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 promo. I'm more like, okay, here, it's out, it's in this stream, it's in this stream. So the blog lives, Twitter lives, Facebook lives, various other sites live. There's the Medium link, there's the 4 or 5 people that I want to say, like, this is really cool, or put it on this feed or that feed. And then there's the responding to people who have messaged me or commented to me in some way. And the responding to people is the real useful stuff. So even if something has like 100,000 views on Facebook, if I have like 4 emails with somebody who's like, I really like this and da 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 da, and I say, give me your address and let me draw you one, that connection is worth more than the traffic. So it's really sort of following up with the actual people as opposed to just the unknowable tech behind it.
So it all starts with authenticity, and the personal connection is more powerful than the tech that enables it.
I think one, it's a more memorable experience. Like somebody got something from me, or I helped somebody with something, and that memory is going to last longer. And they're going to call me later and say, "Can you come to my conference and help me with this? Can you write this for me? Do you want to illustrate my book? Let's keep in touch." And it's actual human relationships that are the things that get things done. It's if somebody just forwards something every day I post it, and I never meet them and I never talk to them about anything, that helps share my message, but it doesn't connect me with people that I can actually do like money work with, if that makes sense.
And she has a few great examples of personal connections she's built with her tribe.
I mean, just because somebody has like X many followers or their name on this book or whatever, it's not following up with just big names. It's following up with everybody. I mean, so gosh, it was like 2006, and this guy emails me and he's like, "Can you draw a graph for me that's a save the date for my wedding?" And I was like, "This is amazing. Of course I can." So I drew a bunch of things and I sent them off, and that was their save the date card with their names in a Venn diagram. In the middle was save the date for this. And those people over time have connected me with so many other people just after that, like, here, I threw some cards in an envelope for you because that was a really cool idea. And they're not super famous people. They're not like big names or this or that. And it wasn't a pandering like thing. It was just a natural, like, of course, that's awesome. And people don't have to be influencers of large quantities of people. They just have to be influencers of cool people that you want to work with, people that know each other, that sort of real thing.
And if you want more ideas that get you closer to your audience.
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, like, it's not hard to make somebody's day when what you do comes naturally to you. Like if somebody's really into something and you're like, I will totally do this, go for it. Like a couple years ago, I wasn't around on Valentine's Day this year because I think it was a weekend, but I was like, let me do Valentine Vens. Like, send me 3 words that describe your sweetheart and I will draw up a Ven about it. Like, super simple. And I think I did like 40 of those on Twitter. And it was so cool because people had Valentines ready-made, ready to go just for them.
And if this is sounding like a lot of work, I urge you to reconsider.
Yeah, the other thing that I didn't really realize until I started to get into this was it takes maybe 10 minutes to draw something, post it online, and send it out there. But then the rest of the work really is promoting it or connecting with the right people about it or following up on this meeting or that meeting. And so a lot of my work as like a quote unquote artist is doing business development and doing administration tasks for my own stuff and making sure my back end website is up to code and a lot of things that don't look at all like art, but make the art possible.
This has been a real lesson for me personally. No longer will I look at my duties of connecting with my tribe, of promoting, of handling the administrative tasks as a chore. I have to remember that they enable me to make my art. Amassing our tribe isn't just a necessary step to building a career, it is the main reason to have one. You've been listening to Wits About You. Get links to Jessica Hagy's work and subscribe to her newsletter at witsaboutyou.com. I'm Alex Cespedes. Thanks for tuning in.